So my biological dad is coming this weekend to take my oldest daughter school clothes shopping, just to relieve me of that responsibility. And I just want to know, does anybody else have two dads? And they refer to one as their biological dad and the other one as like dad. Because I refer to my real father as my biological dad. Even just in any conversation, I don't know why I always feel that it's important for me to make the distinction, my biological dad. And I refer to my daddy as daddy. And so the man who is daddy was my stepdad. He is my three younger sisters' father. And I was his stepdaughter. But for the first 7 years of my life, that was the only person that I knew as my father. Like, my real dad was around when I was a little bitty baby, but after that, he wasn't. I don't know the story on it. He says one thing, my mom says another. I'm not going to believe either one of them because I think that they're both lying to some capacity, you know? So anyways, my daddy passed away 3 weeks before I turned 7. And then shortly after that, I got a phone call. We got a phone call on the house phone, and I answered it. And it's like maybe 2 months after my daddy passed away. And I answered the phone, and it was a man, and he was like, "Who is this?" And I told him my name, and he was like, "I'm your dad." Not the smartest approach on his end. And so, I'm confused, get the phone to my mom. She's not too happy about how that situation happened. Sometime after that, they had a talk, and I met him. And I think that I met him too soon after my daddy passed away. I wish that I would have met him a year or two later. And I know that maybe in his world, he was just like, I'm ready to be a part of her life. Let me be a part of her life. Maybe her knowing that she actually does still have a dad will help her in her grief and make her feel better. But it did not, because my daddy and my biological dad are two polar opposite people. So when I lost my comfort, my daddy, what I was familiar with, and then was given this man who was a complete and polar opposite and told that this was my dad, it just didn't feel comfortable. It just wasn't what I was used to. There's not that it was anything wrong with him. He wasn't my daddy. And I think that if I would have had a year or two to grieve the loss of my father, that I might have been more eager to meet my biological dad. And our relationship could have started off on a way better foot. Anyways, here we are today. And anytime I'm talking about him to other people, I still refer to him as my biological dad. And I'm personally just not comfortable with calling him dad. It's been several years, and I don't know if it's coming. I think that there's like a big part of me in there that's just like, daddy was my dad. And so, I don't know, I've kind of like the other day when I was thinking about it, because he's coming in, and if we run into anybody, I don't want to not introduce him and be rude, but I feel rude introducing him as, this is my biological dad, or saying, this is Ralph. And so, I don't know. I thought the other day when I was thinking about that, I was like, maybe I'll just be like, this is my pops. I think that he would just appreciate any type of recognition in that sense. I know that he has wanted for life for me to call him dad. And I hate that the circumstances are what they were, and that I feel the way that I feel, and that comfort was given to somebody else. But he's been a wonderful father and grandfather to my kids for the past several years now. We had like a come to Jesus meeting and talk with one another, and really just kind of lay down how we felt, and I think that really helped our relationship. And I don't know. I love him and I appreciate him. And I wish that other people just knew how tough it was, because I have people in my family, whenever I've, spoke my piece on, the ups and downs of mine and my biological father's relationship, they're like, there are two sides to every story, and they're implying his and my mom's. It has nothing to do with my mother. My mother has never spoken an ill word about my biological father to me, ever. She let me develop my own opinion, so in my head, I'm like, there are two sides, his and mine. His and mine. So I know what I'm talking about. Leave me alone. It's not your relationship, I wish people would just kind of understand how delicate the situation has been literally my whole life, and how I have known that he wants me to call him dad. And although there hasn't always been implied pressure, that I still feel pressure anyways to give that to him, because he is my father, So yeah, just some stuff I've been thinking about this morning, I guess.